Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for Real Conversations with Kelly. This is episode 10. Woohoo! So excited. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 key factors of why we hold on to things. So get ready for a great conversation, and we look forward to it.
Righty, let's go.
All right.
Why we hold on to things. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have to be honest with myself, and I look into some of my drawers and the things in the little corners around in my place, and I go, ugh, there's a lot of junk in here. Maybe I should clean it out. I don't know why I don't do it. Because when I start to go through there, I see things that I think, oh, you know what? I might want to hold on to this. Or, oh, do you remember when I used to use this for such and such? So that is where this topic comes from, is why do we find it so hard to let go of things? So we're going to talk about, we have 5 little key factors that I want to hear your thoughts about. So factor number 1, emotional attachment. So sometimes objects carry personal memories for us. What do you think about that?
Emotional attachment. Okay. I'm going to actually mention my mother.
Okay.
She has an emotional attachment to calendars. She writes in the small booklet calendars that you used to get that you could carry in your purse. My sister still carries one too.
My dad has one too.
But my mom will write in it all her appointments and things that she's got to do. And she has a rubber band that goes around it. And then when it's done, she rubber bands it and puts it in a shoebox.
How many shoe boxes do you think she has?
I will find out when she's gone. And that's emotional attachment to me. Emotional attachment, something that I probably will keep until I'm gone. My mother gave me a little square cardinal, and I don't even know what it says, but I've had it for years. And I keep it up on the shelf. I'm not a real knick-knacky person. So I don't have a lot of knickknacks. I don't have a lot of things that are out. So I'll keep that. Gosh, there are some pictures that, yes, there are pictures. Yeah, there are pictures.
I have seen your phone, Kelly. You have
now,
many pictures.
That's a whole different conversation.
Okay, fine. Someday we will talk about the need for hoarding a ton of photos on your phone and having to get a phone specifically that has enough storage for all your photos. Just saying.
That's right. And this year, I actually think I'm going to get a thumb drive to where I can actually put them onto a thumb drive.
Free up some space.
If I know how to do it.
I'm sure we can figure it out. You know, I'm thinking about that when you think you would be like totally lost if all of a sudden all of those photos got completely erased. Totally lost. Or would you? So here's a second question follow-up to that. Okay, so hold that thought. If there was a fire, what would be the first things that you would take? And the reason I ask you this is I was listening to a podcast recently with Simon Sinek, and I thought it was such a great story. And he lives out in LA with the LA fires. And he said he was in his house and he was listening to all the news updates and the weather updates and listening for when he was going to have to evacuate. And it hadn't happened yet, but it was getting closer and didn't know if it was going to have to happen. And even though he was not part of that evacuation just yet, he still had to prepare as if he was. And he could only put into his car as much as he could, that's what he was going to take out. And he said that the things that he actually put in there are far different than what he would have said were important if he was asked this question before. Paintings, well, you're not going to be able to put those in there. I thought that was such an interesting thing, is the things that you think that you'll take and that are important might not be the things that actually get taken that have the most importance.
Right.
And I think you had an experience like that at one point too.
I did. I was in a fire. I was living with my boyfriend at the base. Well, it was in Reno, and we were on an acre, and I was working at the house, and I had the windows open because in Reno, Tahoe, I mean, it was in the morning. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was in August, and I started smelling smoke probably about 10 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, this is weird. And I look out of the window and I see smoke coming from over the ridge. And we lived on a street to where it was just our side, and then the other side of the street had houses. And the house that was directly across from us didn't have anything next to it. So it was just sage. And sage is huge in that area because it's desert.
Right.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So we kept calling. And we heard the sirens. They were going to where it had started. Then all of a sudden we saw flames and it was coming over the mountain, and the winds were 70 to 90 miles an hour. And so the fire was picking up and moving, was skipping 10 sage brushes ahead. So I was like, okay, I've got to get Riley the dog. I've got to get the computer. I have to get my phone. I have to get, gosh, what else? Oh, I had a box. Excuse me. I had a box of copies of birth certificates. And then I picked up a couple of stuffed animals from the kids. He had twins. So I picked up a couple of their special items. And that's all I could fit in. And then the dog and I.
Wow.
And we drove away as the fire was coming. And then I passed my boyfriend at the time. He was behind a truck and went in and was saving his house with the hose on the roof. And some of the houses across the street burned to the ground. And you only have a few seconds. You literally, I mean, you have, I don't even know whether I would say seconds, but you have to think in seconds at that moment. And I mean, that's all I could put in. And it was probably one of the scariest moments of my life.
Yeah.
And I had never thought, what would I take if I was in a fire? Ever. Never had that thought. And now I literally have videoed my whole house.
That's a great idea. That's a really good idea.
Yes. Videoed everything. Open drawers, said this is in my office, this is in the spare bedroom, this is in the living room. I mean, just kind of made a record of it. And you never know, because it's that split second where you've got to decide, what am I taking and what am I not taking?
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I've never been in a situation like that, but I have thought about it. I mean, I have important documents that are in Ziploc bags, waterproof bags, in case there's a flood and so forth. But I don't know, what would I do in that split second when it becomes really real?
Right.
Really real.
Right.
I think that's amazing. So, okay. So sometimes there's emotional attachments to things of why we don't let go. Number 2, and this one, I think we're going to have to get back on our mamas and our daddies. Fear, regret, or future need. We think that we're going to need it in the future. And I kind of think goes back to when we look at our parents, at least I know my parents and my grandparents, when they grew up in the Depression.
Yes.
So you didn't get rid of anything because you really truly might need to use it or reuse it, right?
Right. It's just like, gosh, I still do it to this day. I mean, when COVID was happening and they were limiting like how many packages of toilet paper you could buy, that just kind of, I mean, it really freaked me out because I always have spare, always. And I find that I have like a little bit of trait of my grandparents because I never want to run out of anything. If I run out of something, I'm like, well, I have to go now. I have to go to the store right at this moment.
Yeah.
And I really don't have to go right now. But
I already
you
have
know,
3 things of toilet paper in the sink.
exactly.
You know what, though? I think it's different than just having spare on hand. Like a 72-hour kit, or when we had Snowmageddon here in Texas a couple of years ago, it was a situation. And the thing that I learned within that, though, is a lot of people are prepared. I was prepared, but I still had to go to my parents' house because I didn't have a generator. I had enough food that I could have used, but I didn't have a generator. And so I think sometimes it goes beyond, we do need to have that type of supply if the weather gets nasty or whatever we're looking at. But what we're talking about even more so is the 500 paper clips or the 5 mega rolls of toilet paper, or the fear. I think that's it. When we attach the word fear to it, it's like, what are we fearful of?
Right. What are we afraid of?
Yeah.
My grandmother, my mom's mom, we were cleaning out her house after they both had passed away, and went out they had a garage, they had a carport, and then they had like a small little garage area, and walked in there, and there were I believe it was 3 trash bags full of Cool Whip containers. And she would use those to put leftovers in, things like that. And I mean, you can tell they were dessert people because I mean, it was Cool Whip. I don't know how long she'd been saving them. But we were like, what do we do with these? And my mother's instinct was, well, shouldn't we keep those? I was like, no, we should give those away. And there are so many people out there that feel like, okay, I'm going to order something because I know I'm going to need it one day and never use it, but they feel like they still have an emotional attachment.
Or it's on sale.
Oh,
it's on sale.
Oh, totally.
It's on sale.
Yep. You might need it in the future, but buy it in the future. And I'm listening to myself right now.
I love that. You might need it in the future, but buy it in the future. That's a great lesson. That's a really good lesson.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, cultural and societal messages. There is so much in our society that leads you to believe that more stuff means more happiness.
Right. And the older I have gotten, actually, I lived in Tahoe for 12 years, and it was actually a blessing because I remember when I moved, I said, I don't have to keep up with the Joneses anymore. And do I even have to wear makeup up there? Because if you really think about it, I mean, I was moving to the mountains, but I was moving to the mountains as a professional. It was just such an unfolding of my life. I didn't have to think that I had to have the most amazing car or the most amazing outfit. I think I bought my makeup from the local, I think they had Long's Drugs.
Oh
I used to
yeah.
go to
Yep.
Long's
Long's.
Drugs and Rayleigh's and,
Yep.
get my makeup. And I couldn't believe I was doing that, but it was freeing for me.
Mm.
So it felt really good. And I didn't have to feel like that my next door neighbor was going to see me when I went to go get the mail. And did I look good enough to walk out of the house?
Gosh, that's so huge. That goes along with really with all the social media that wants you to buy more. I mean, let's face it, we live in a consumer world. We
Mhm.
live in a consumer world, and the more that they can get you to consume, the better. And the more that we have, they want you to feel like you're better than, better up, better this way, better that way. And so that alone, I could just see giving up your makeup from a society where there was so much emphasis of it to go to maybe not. That would have been hard. That would have been really hard. We're definitely not saying it's easy to give up some of those things,
Right.
but it
And
is
I
really
wanted to.
hard.
I
Yes.
wanted to, and
Yes.
it felt good and it was freeing for me. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then every time I would come back to Dallas and visit, I was like, oh, can't wait. Can't wait to go home. Can't wait to
Mm,
go back to Tahoe.
mm,
And I'm not saying that they don't wear makeup up
of
there. I'm
course.
not saying that they don't care about things. There's some
Yeah.
very rich people that live up in Tahoe, very rich, and they keep up with the Joneses. It was my attitude when I went up there. I was like, oh, I don't have to do this anymore. But I did because I made the decision and it was so freeing and nice. And even when I moved back, I mean, I still had a little bit of that, but it was so nice to just know I didn't have to have that cool car. I didn't have to have this or that to make sure that I was accepted in my circle.
Right. I had a similar experience with that when I was growing up. First half of my high school was spent here in Dallas, and I went to a really rich school. We were by far not rich. And
Mhm.
so my first car, which some of you may be laughing, my first car was a Ford Pinto station wagon. And it had a manual choke in it. For those of you who don't have a clue about that, a manual choke is used with a clutch so that it doesn't die every time you stop. And I was really embarrassed. All the people that were my classmates, they all had, not everybody, but there was Porsches and IROC Z's and Camaros. I was driving a Ford Pinto. However, my second half of high school, we moved away and we moved to Indiana, and it was a farm place. And everybody drove crap pieces of car. And all of a sudden, just like that, totally fine to be driving the car that I was, because everybody was driving cars that had a lot of miles on them or whatever. It didn't matter whatsoever. And I remember everybody was like, oh, there goes Heather. They would see me, and I liked that. So it's just so interesting how things that we think are so important in one place, they don't have to be in another place. All right.
Mhm.
Let's see, we're going on number 4. So this is about guilt and obligation. So this is somebody gives you something for Christmas and you have a smile on your face. You go, oh, thanks. And then you never use it. But you know you can't get rid of it, because if you're ever asked, you're going to have to tell them, oh, yeah. Oh, it's in my cupboard. I'm just saving it. So sometimes it's hard to let go because we've got guilt and obligation towards something. Thoughts?
Yes. Yes. Done that many a times. Many a times. My grandmother would buy me outfits that I would go, thank you so much. And I look like the side of a barn in it. But she thought that I looked so beautiful in it. And I just, it would go in the back of my closet. And then I was like, oh, when she comes to town, I guess I can wear it. But then it was like, okay, you're taking up space. I need to have clothes in here that I can wear.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would get rid of it. I would give it to Goodwill or give it to a friend, or
It's not like
I
you
just,
trashed them. You
no,
gave them to somebody
no.
that was going to wear them.
Yes,
However,
yes.
grandma was like, where are they?
Mhm. Yep.
That's huge. I mean, that I've seen so many clothes in friends' closets that have tags on them still for years because somebody bought them something and
Mhm.
they were just never going to wear it. And one of the things that I found to remedy that, at least in my life, is I just tell people, please don't buy me clothes, don't buy me tchotchkes, because
Oh
most
my gosh.
likely I'm not going to keep them. And so I just tell them straight out, I'm not going to keep them. I don't like clothes that I can't try on for the most part.
I say that a lot.
Yeah.
I say that a lot. Do not buy me clothes.
Yeah.
Buy me something that is sentimental, that or I need or I really want.
Yeah.
I am capable of buying my own clothes.
Right. Exactly. Or not.
Yeah, or not.
Buy
Or
them
not.
or buy them not. Yes. So I
Mhm.
also think that if any of our listeners are people who love to give gifts and who have maybe some of those feelings towards some of the people they've given things to, take a look at that within yourself. Some people's love language is gift giving and gift receiving, and I totally get it. I don't have that love language. I don't think that's really your love language either. There are some people who they just thrive on that. So really maybe take a step back and listen to your feelings when somebody doesn't know where the Christmas popcorn maker is because it
That's
was
right.
never used.
Some of my friends are so good, like that, like February or March, they'll see something and buy it and put it away.
Gosh,
And I'm like, how do
so
you do
good.
that?
Yeah. That's so
And
not me either.
I do, I do that now
That's
sometimes.
great. Yeah.
And I'll go, oh, I'm done. Christmas is done, or birthdays are done, and I feel really good about it. But and I want to make sure that it's something that they will like.
Well, that's the difference. That's like
Mm-hmm.
totally the difference when you really
Mm-hmm.
know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, if you see a t-shirt for me and you say, oh, this got a great quote on it, Heather, I'll be like, okay, I'll sleep in it. you know? So don't get me wrong. Definitely, when you feel a need for really seeing something that somebody would truly like, or you really thought about them,
Right.
there's a
Right.
little
Because it comes from
difference.
your heart.
Yeah, it comes from your heart. Yeah.
And a lot of times people will feel that, but then they can feel it and it can be just, mm-mm.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you bought this? I know that you really, really wanted to give this to me,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I think it just goes
So,
back to really letting people know, hey,
mhm.
these are the things that I love. These are the things that I
Yep.
probably won't keep or need. My sister, bless her heart, she's the home decorator and always comes over to my place, and she's always going, oh, you need Easter stuff. Oh, now you need Valentine's stuff. Oh, now you need summer stuff. And I just like, no, stop. No, I don't. Because I don't want to store it. It's cute. Don't get me wrong. I love pillows. I love little throws. I love all this stuff, but I don't want to store it. So unless I'm
Yes.
gonna be buying new stuff every year for every season, I just don't want it. Sorry, I'm
Mhm.
boring, but I just don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be getting back to the guilt and obligation. I don't want to feel obligated on the receiving end. I don't want to feel obligated to have to keep
Right.
it too.
Right. Right.
I think
Yep.
that makes a difference. All right.
Hmm.
So the last one, number 5, and this is kind of an interesting one. Sometimes we hold on to things and possessions because they give us a sense of stability in a world that can be unpredictable.
Hmm.
So, what do you think about that one?
Gosh,
Different from hoarding in case I need it.
correct. There's some things that I've held on to that make me feel make me feel good. There was a top that I had for a very long time.
Is it one that we what
Yes,
we
it's
threw
one that
away?
we actually donated. And I went into my closet and I went, oh, it's not here. So, gosh, I'm just trying to think of what I have held on to that keeps me stable.
Hmm. Safe, stable,
Hmm.
comfort.
And makes me feel safe.
Yeah.
Probably something from my grandparents, and I can't think of it right now, but it's probably something from them because she had a lot of tchotchke stuff, a lot of things that sat around. She loved birds and butterflies and things like that. So she had that sitting out everywhere. I'm just trying to think of what what makes me safe. Hmm.
So if you were in
Oh,
a
oh,
okay, go for it.
I know. This is actually my other papa, my dad's dad. He had a cigar box and it had different things in it. So I kept that cigar box because I was like, oh, this is the closest thing. This is like I want to keep this. And I don't even know whether he smokes cigars, have no clue. None. But I always keep that because I look at it and think, oh, should I give that away? And I go, no, I don't want to give that away. That's something that connects me to him.
Well, that's a good point. A lot of things can connect us to others. So, I mean, we're definitely not here to tell people you got to throw everything away, like, live a complete minimalistic way. We're not telling people that. So, things that connect you, I think that's a beautiful story. That's a
Yes,
beautiful story for to be able to look at the things that you have and who do they connect you to.
right. I just lost my dog
Mm-hmm.
and been having a really hard time with that. It's been over a month and I find that I look at her picture and I look at her collar
Yeah.
and things like that. Those are things that I will keep that will give me comfort.
Yeah.
And I look at pictures on my phone and, think, oh, I should have taken more pictures. So yeah, that gives me comfort.
And that's great. It's good to also be able to think of objects that give you comfort in stressful times. A lot of
Mhm.
people have blankets or pillows or their
Mhm.
favorite sweatshirts and things like that. So that can give a lot of meaning. A
Yes.
lot of meaning. All right. So if we are thinking about okay, now's the time for us to declutter maybe. What are some steps? And if we're struggling, what are some steps we can think about doing?
Oh gosh. I know just going through your drawers, literally, like when you're taking an inventory and you have to open drawers, you can go, oh, I need to get in here and declutter this because all I'm doing is throwing stuff in here. I know that I cleaned out my side drawer and I keep a lot of things in the top that are that I like to have handy. My glasses, cough drops, I keep that in there. Lip balm. I have headphones in there, but I don't ever use them. And I thought, okay, I've got to just put everything in its place. And then I went through and threw out tons of socks and things that I don't use. And, went through my closet and literally gave away 12 bags,
Yeah.
12 bags of clothes. And then I started looking at the shelves. What do I need to go through there? Because one day I am going to move, and then when I move, I'm going to be like, "Oh, how come I didn't just go through all of this?"
Yeah. Why didn't I start sooner?
hmm And literally, now that I'm thinking about it, my next project. Okay, so I'm saying this aloud. So, if anybody wants to check in and see if I've done it, you're more than welcome. I am going to go through, I have a huge file cabinet over here, and I have files in two drawers here. Files,
Yeah,
files.
I know. If in the future I might need that information.
Right,
We're crazy.
right. And so I'm like, okay, if I don't need this, shred it.
Yeah.
Get it done.
So what is going to
Get
be your
it done.
qualifications though of if I don't need it?
Oh, I have bills from 2015,
Uh,
2016. I mean, that's 10 years ago. I
yeah.
have now I am good about going through my boxes of taxes
Mm,
because you got to hold on to them for 7 years.
yeah.
And so I hold on them 7 years and then done.
Boom, gone.
Yeah. So I went through the attic last year, totally organized it, cleaned it up, made sure that everything was in its place, and it just felt so great.
Yeah.
So great. And just making sure that what I have now serves me. Does it make me happy? Does it expand who I am? Is it something that I really, really like? And yeah. So if you really want to declutter your life, just start in one room
That's right.
and just bite off that room. And then that's what I say. I go, bite that room off.
One
And
room, one
then
drawer.
that's it. One room, one drawer. And really, the way I've had to do it, because I've been very bad at this, is I have to take it one drawer at a time. If I do one drawer, I'm good. And then the next night, I'll do another drawer. And the next night, I may not even do anything. I may wait a week and then I go do another drawer, but I stay in the same room.
Oh, that's
So,
interesting. Just
or
keeps
else
you
it'll
going.
pile up on me.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Okay. How do you keep yourself then from filling up the space once you declutter and let go of things?
Good girl. Create space to bring more in.
I know. So how do we not get back into that space where we're having the same conversation of, okay, Kelly, it's time to declutter again.
But you have to declutter. You declutter what doesn't serve you anymore.
Okay. There's
Okay.
okay.
And so when you go
Mhm.
out and let's say I sell my bedding, okay. Well, I want to go and get new bedding because it's going to serve me now.
Mhm.
I get rid of all my workout clothes. I need to have more workout clothes. So I have to go and purchase more workout clothes. But if I get rid of like half of them, okay, maybe I'll go get two, two or three. And I'm bringing this up because on one of our podcasts we're really going to talk about this vision board. You put something on your vision board and you are happy with it, and 6 months later you look at your vision board and you go, oh, wow, that is not at all what I want right now
Huh.
because your mind has shifted. And so you have to To me, it's decluttering your mind as well. And just like a brain dump, you can brain dump. Just start writing in your journal. Oh my gosh, nothing like it, because you have to declutter yourself.
Got it.
And I love that part of it.
Got it.
Because
Got it.
then it shows on the outside. Once you work on the inside, the outside takes care of itself.
You know, that really truly does. And I can't remember what person says it, but literally what is happening on the outside is a clear indication of what's happening on the inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've never forgotten to somebody else had said also when they would, before they would hire somebody, they would go out and look at the condition of their car, like inside their car.
Mm-hmm.
They would peer into the windows.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was completely littered and cluttered and full of trash, then they didn't get hired because they knew if it's on the outside, it's going to be on the inside. And I never forgot that. I never forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be interesting to know what everyone does out there to really, really clear their space. What do you do to clear your space? And what is holding you back from having everything that you want?
It may just be that clutter in that kitchen drawer. You never know.
That's right. That's right.
Perfect.
So you're more than welcome to give us your opinion. Give us your tricks of the trade. I love to see that. So we'd love for you to like us and subscribe and share. And just so you know, we are on YouTube and we are on iTunes. So you now can take your walk and listen to us.
That's right. If you don't want to look at us, you can just listen to us.
That's right. That's right. So thanks very much for joining us, and have a great day and get to decluttering your life.